Myself and the project worker are both local people, which I think helps quite a bit as well for the reaching of a quality service. Quite often just issues that we have knowledge of the local job centres, we have local knowledge of health services and geographical areas, and so sometimes it's just really useful for the clients to be able to come to and talk to us, and us being able to acknowledge the area that they live in and some of the needs that they have. It's not just obviously the initial recruitment process. Once the staff has been recruited, then it's an ongoing process, and I endeavour to get feedback from the clients at a regular basis to make sure that they're happy with the staff member and the way that they're conducting themselves and supporting the client and etc. And also I try to make regular time at the end of each session just to touch base with any of the staff members or all the staff members and say, is everything okay, you know, how's today gone, and offer that opportunity for more of a discussion on a daily basis, on a sessional basis, rather than just waiting for formal supervisions, because I think quite often you lose the emphasis of what the issue was or what the good things are, good practice and that sort of stuff. So hopefully that enables the staff members and the clients to feel supported and feel that they have an opportunity to feed into how the service provision and how it develops. Parkside Gardening was set up coming up to 10 years ago now, and it was in response to clients' requests for a project that supported them with therapeutic gardening, but also opportunities to move on to employment. And I was employed as a project manager more or less straight away as it started. I think the reason I was chosen was because I had a really keen interest in gardening. Not very little knowledge of gardening, but really keen interest in gardening, and being involved and you know, learning about nature and learning. I had a fairly good knowledge of how to plant and etc., but not really, you know, what plants were what and that sort of stuff. So I don't think that was vitally important, but the willingness to learn and being involved and working alongside the clients, I think was probably, you know, a key thing to me getting the job, and also probably the background and experience and expertise and skills that I had at the time. I worked as a project manager for a supported living unit for people with moderate learning disability. I've managed a 6-bedded unit for people with severe learning disabilities and challenging behaviour. I'd also deputy managed a unit for people with autism and non-verbal communication. So, and I've done that over the last 32 years. So I think that's why I was chosen for the job, because I had a vast sort of background. Even though Parkside actually works with people with mental health problems, so it shows you that the skills are transferable. But I think you need to have, you know, a real good developed background of employment within the field that you're working with initially, before you start embarking on another new field that you're not 100% sure of. My project worker, in turn, was recruited because of her really good knowledge in gardening and expertise in gardening, so that made her first on my books and probably the client's books as well, so that we weren't stumbling around in the dark continuously. And also she's very empathetic to the client group, has had extensive experience of working with people in very vulnerable positions such as homelessness, alcohol and drug abuse. So she really had empathy and understanding for people that are in difficult positions in their lives, and the qualities of therapeutic support, and how that can enable people to move on to pastures new. We've had people in the past that have volunteered, that have had mental health recoveries, that have gone through some very difficult times in their lives and are sort of just emerging to start thinking about how they can become reintegrate back into society. And they've come along and done therapeutic gardening with us, and also worked on different festivals and gardening contracts, and have been paid for that employment with us, but as a sheltered employment project, and then have moved on to part-time employment, and some have actually been employed as professional gardeners after a length of time. of their recovery. So, yeah, I think it demonstrates that that having an all-round staff team and an all-round client support team can work for individuals.